data types like integer, primitive data types, integer and strings, those things.
Just a minute, let me check. Okay, yeah, recording is going on. Good. So, Tamajit, what is a variable?
The variable is a container on which we are storing the data and assign that which type of data we are storing.
Okay, okay. So, Rakesh, what are the types of variables we have learned last day?
Many of types of variable like integer, string, decimal, date, time,
These are
boolean.
called primitive data types.
Yes, primitive data.
So why it is primitive data type? Because these are the basics. These are the most granular level of data which we are storing, and it is not of complex type. Complex type means those are actually objects. We will come to that today. So what was our like? Probably you had some assignment, I believe.
Yeah, yeah,
So what was that assignment?
yeah. It is done. Can I show it?
Yep, sure.
Sir, I have a question.
Yep.
Sir, which purpose I have used double data type?
Double is nothing but bigger than decimal. Like when we have to uh, double is ideally uh, I'm showing you what is that
Okay, sir.
and how that looks like.
So,
Okay, sir.
sir, can I visual my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen. So you have
So,
taken one you have written one method, you have
yes,
taken argument,
arguments, yes.
right?
And then I can use here is a variable like anything I can put in A. Okay, so here like I have put 5. 5 divided by 2, it's any number, and this number can I store in ACC. Okay, this number can here I can multiply by 2, so that is also returned to my even number. So if even number equal to I can put this number like which number I can got. So that is also not match. Like A is a my argument number, okay, and BCC is a my which number
The
I can
logic,
got.
this logic will not work anyway, but let's check how you can execute this.
It's like I can put here. I can given 10. This is a even number. So, so in the so your input value is zero. So when I put any odd number like 5 or 3, so this is odd number, odd number. So input is value is odd.
Okay.
That's
So you have what you have done is you have divided the number by 2,
true.
and again you have multiplied by the number by what you have divided, you have multiplied with
Number
2.
2.
So that
This
means your A and BCC will always be the same
Yes.
ideally.
No. Yeah.
It will not, because the remainder will be off. Okay,
No. So,
good logic.
so
Good logic. You have written whatever, like it is not conventional, but whatever you have written, it is a good logic. Like you have exploited the utility of integer in a different way. Good. It has a more simpler way to do that. I will tell you.
okay.
So it is good, Rakesh, that you have done that part. Anyone else?
Sir, I have done also the same logic.
Okay. Anyone else done in some other logic, like
Yes,
written some other logic?
yes, sir. And I have also some questions on it.
Yep.
So I'm
Tell me.
sharing my screen. Sir, this is my code that I written, and I took a help from some other source, and it is another way I used it. And another, I have written another code also that you
First, let's look into this one. Uh, Important part is math.mod. That is the uh, correct way to do this, because this math.mod will actually give you the remainder. When you are dividing something, you
yes,
will get the remainder from
oh,
this. But
yes,
it is the worst formatting of your code. Don't ever write code in this way. Whenever
Whenever
you
you
are
are
writing any body, okay, your
okay,
class has its body. So whenever you are starting a body of anything,
okay,
use one tab space to start that. So your method should start
start
with a
with
tab.
tab.
And your this if statement, where you have written this, first your this return even number and return odd number, this will actually give you like this should start from lot earlier, like you have given extra space before starting this line. So try to stick to the indentation, good indentation of a program. Okay,
yes.
otherwise it is fine. Whatever you have written, that is fine. What
Sir,
else you have written? Mhm.
sir, what is the problem here, sir? In about which you are talking, sir? Where I have given the
Where from where you have started this return, just go before
okay,
that,
okay,
and it should not have that much of space. Any
okay,
body should start with
okay,
a tab space from
okay,
its previous line,
okay, okay,
from where the body has started, and the same indentation will follow till that body is end. Now it will go back. I will show you in some time. What else you have written?
sir. Another way sir, here it is not working. I am showing you that. What is wrong here? I am not just getting this. Here it is, sir. Wait. I tried in this way, sir. Last day you have uh, whatever you taught us like this in this way. I tried in this way, so it is not working, sir. So what is wrong here? Is it,
It's not working.
sir? I'm not getting the result.
You will
Will
not get
not
that
get
result where you have written the print statement.
Yes, sir. Is there it is needed, sir? System debug to show
If
the
you
result.
write system.debug, that will
will
print that in your log. You
Okay.
haven't printed anything in your log. But anyway, why you have written this a plus b? You are just adding this. You have added two numbers,
Yes.
and you are just checking that the result of those two numbers, whether that is even or odd. But anyway, why you are doing that sum? There is no point to do that sum. So
So
guys, how you have done this coding? Like, have you just checked in Google and found whatever you have found, you have copy pasted it? If you have done that, that is the wrong way to do that.
no, no, it is not copy paste. It's just I try to explore like whatever you learned yes last in
So
last.
you should have,
I
you should have,
this.
yeah, I got your point. So first thing is that you should have learned the, before doing any copy paste, whoever is doing that, you should copy paste the syntax only, not the logic.
Yes.
Okay,
Mm.
because whatever you are doing, this math.mod, this thing you need to Google.
Yes.
Obviously that thing you need to Google, but you should Google only that part, not how should I find out even or odd number.
Yes.
So this logic you have to build, like the first one, the first logic what I have seen from Rakesh, that was good, because that is not a very conventional way of doing, checking this even or odd. That is good, but that is only good if you have built your logic. If you have taken that logic from somewhere, that is not good. That is the first thing. Second thing is that even if you are doing that in any case, first go through the code and understand that properly. Don't just blindly copy paste something. So here what you are trying to do, Tomojit,
Yes.
first thing is that, this math.mod is there, that is fine, so it will check, but within your if statement there is nothing you have written,
Okay.
right? You haven't written anything. You have only a comment. This, double slash, this will only comment, and this is even number, this is odd number, as it is written here. You have to write system.debug, and within that, bracket open close, you have to put your string, whatever string you want to put.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else done anything, other than these, or if you have any question?
Uh, yes, sir. I want to go next.
Yep, please.
So my screen is visible.
It's coming. Hold up. Yep,
Okay, sir.
we can see your screen.
Sir, this one that I have created. So here basically I've created a class and declared a integer inside, and then
So
inside
why
a
you are taking this for loop?
sir in this for loop basically we are saying that uh, the number should get added, like for from 1 to 10 we have to print the number, the even numbers. So for the value till 1 to 10 we are taking the for loop for integer 1 to 10 basically.
What was your, what was your intention? We only
My
had
in
to take one number, and we had to, check whether that number is even or odd, right? That was the problem statement or the requirement, right?
So the requirement was from 1 to 10 I have to print the even number. Am I wrong?
Okay. If you have taken that as a problem statement, then it is right.
Okay, sir. Sir, can you please tell me once that what is the real problem statement?
That was very simple. Like, can you just check whether a number is odd or even? Because most probably I haven't gone through for loop last day.
No, sir. Okay, sir. I will do it once more. Like taking a number and checking if it is odd or even. Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
So, sir, I have a question. Like,
yeah.
I have a practice with the daytime data type. So, how I
Rakesh, your
print,
voice was breaking. I couldn't follow you.
how I, sorry, now it's better.
Now better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, I have a question. Like, I have a practice daytime data type. Okay. So, I have like, I want to print current date and time, real time in Indian time. How it can you explain? Say, for
With system dot today, most probably the syntax is system dot today. Date current date time, right?
yeah, current and date and time. Like
It is most
now,
probably system dot now, but the thing is that I have to check the syntax. And second thing is that it cannot uh, it cannot confirm whether it is Indian current Indian date time or not, because it will actually take that from the user you are executing, the local of that user. So
okay,
you have to check the local of that user as well. So if it is not IST, then you have to convert that into IST.
okay. So I can use the format, right? Format method.
Yeah, you can format that date time, but first you have to check the local, what is the actual one right now, and like it is very difficult to make that dynamic. It would be a very big code to, if you have to check all these things and just like you have to check you have to take it, you have probably there is some um, free APIs by which we can convert some date time to another date time. If that is done, that can be done. Probably formatting, I'm not sure right now, but I have to check. Probably in
Okay, sir.
Apex also we have something by which we can convert date time
Yeah.
to some other date time.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Anyone else?
So I have
Including.
also done my assignment
Mhm,
as like Rakesh.
mhm.
So
That
can
is fine.
I show you the screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Yes.
Shushanta, are you sharing your screen? We can't see
Yes,
anything.
yes, yes, sir.
Okay. We can't see it till now. So
And so I have a one more question, sir. When we are assign a variable in a system.debug, then always we are use first we are use a plus and then using a variable, the variable name actually
within system.debug,
is
we must not assign any variable. It is not
no,
assignment.
when we want to print actually.
Yeah, we can print only using
Yes.
system.debug. And that plus sign, like system.debug, it is also a method provided by Apex that only takes string. When you are just adding strings with plus sign, it will add up. That's how it is,
Okay.
just considering that as a whole string, and the whole string is getting printed. That's it.
So as like that, I am done my. It will be show my screen, sir. It will be visible.
It is only a blank screen, blank white screen. Pranto, you can just do one thing. You can just copy paste your code in chat, in this meeting chat, and we can. I can
Okay,
just take it from there.
okay, okay, sir.
It seems like there is some issue in your sharing.
Right, sir. Okay, sir.
Anyone else? If not, then we will move to our today's topic. Before going to that, let's look into double. So this is also a database, like it is also a primitive data type. Anshita, what you were asking, mostly this double is nothing but a bigger integer. Okay,
Okay.
so when you are using this, uh, these are the methods that we can use. That is fine, but uh, most important part is that it is a it is for integer, it is a whole number. Double ideally be, this can be your double, that can be rounded off and can be done anything else, but it is ideally it should take more bigger and larger values. Okay, so when you are actually going through any primitive data type, you can just come to developer.salesforce.com and you can just search here whatever you want to search, not only with primitive data type but also anything related to developing apex. You can just come here and you can just search it here. Even here you can search the topic, so it will give you the details of that component, right?
Okay.
A 64-bit number that includes a decimal point, that is what is double. That is integer. A 32-bit number that does not include a decimal point. Okay, so
Okay.
maximum and minimum value of integer you can see here, and for double you can see the max and min value here. 64-bit is nothing but data. You understand bit and byte, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And sir, what's the meaning of primitive data type?
Primitive is nothing but the granular data types which are not complex in nature. So those are actually called primitive data type. Primitive data types are these things like integer, double, long, all these things. When you were defining any custom, you are defining any class and you are creating object from that class, that is actually non-primitive data type, because you can put 5 integers, 10 strings, 5 double, 3 decimal sorry, 3 decimal within that class. You can define that, And when you define that, it will actually, whenever any you will create objects of that class, it will contain all those things as a mix, like all those things, all the copy of those primitive data types within that object. So that means you are encapsulating different primitive data types in a place. So that is a non-primitive and complex data type.
So, sir, that's mean the, the given data type is a primitive data type, and we are creating like we are creating a object data type. So that is a non-primitive data type. That my creating myself.
Mostly, not always. That is mostly, that is the true thing. But within Salesforce also, there can be non-primitive data types and non-primitive things you should be using. Say, you have seen account, right? Account is, we say account as object. We can create instance of that account within our Apex class. Okay, so that, obviously, that is non-primitive data type. That is not primitive. Ideally, that is non-primitive. So that is important to understand, like what we are actually what we are trying to achieve, what we are trying to use.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so Sushanta, I have seen your code. That is fine. Looks fine to me. So let's move on to today's agenda. So first,
have
what we will
question.
do. Sorry.
Yes, actually, I have a one question. You said non-primitive data type. That means is a account. That means you will is a object, right?
That is object, obviously.
Okay. That means non-primitive. That means is a all our object will be non-primitive.
No, not necessarily. Obviously, there would be objects. Obviously, yes, those are objects, but not of same type. Like it can be your custom object. It can be even something called your whatever called your uh, standard objects, records of standard objects, all these things.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
give me once.
So is also including a custom object or
Yep,
only for the standard?
yep. Your custom objects are not your primitive data type. Obviously, that is not primitive data type.
Okay.
So the word primitive here is something to mention that uh, you are not actually using that, like what to say, it is not something you can directly, it is actually related to memory assignment. But I mean to say, when you are actually defining anything, any variable or object, there would be some memory space, so which would be allocated. So for objects, it is very most of the time it is a container, and it provides you the starting address, starting memory allocation, like starting address of that memory allocation. For primitive data types, ideally it provides a space. Okay, so we will go through uh, default constructor. I have just told you last day as well. I will go through that once again. Different operators, I believe we have gone through last day, right? Like plus, minus, this type of operators. Have we gone through that?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Equal to SN.
Okay, okay. I will cover that up. Then we will go to basic, like if, for, while, these variable, these loops, like for and while is loop, if is statement. So we will go through that. and we will try to do few of the logic. We will build some of those logics with these for loops and while loops. Okay.
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 Okay. So first thing is that when we are talking about operators, so what are the types of operators we can have? So operators can be of unary, binary, and ternary. Okay. So what is unary operator? When we are so this plus plus and minus minus.
Sir, can't see your screen.
Yeah, I can understand. That's why I'm just now. I believe you can see my. Oh, you can see my screen. Let me share it. I believe now you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
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 So this plus plus and minus minus, these are the unary operators. Why it is unary operator? Because it works on one variable. It it is something which works on one variable. Okay, so that's why it is called unary. How it is working? What is this I plus plus or j minus minus means? I'll come to that. Let's come to binary operators. So plus, minus, multiplication, division, equal to, all these are binary operators. Why binary? Because it operates on two variables, at least two variables, or one variable and one value. So it needs to operate on two things at the same time. There is ternary operator as well. Ternary means it works with something like it is, that is something like how you have written the conditions in your validation rule and all. That first thing is condition, then the second part is if that condition is true, then it will do the next part. Otherwise, that will work on the third part. So that works on three things at the same time. That's why that is called ternary operator. So let's look into this unary and binary operator first. So what is unary operator? Like this plus, how that plus works? When we are writing something like some code, it is something like s equals to a plus b. We have to write s equals to a plus b. Why we cannot write only a plus b? Why I have to put this equal to? There is a reason behind that. The reason is I a means it is a container where I can store some value. B is another container where I can store some value. This plus sign, what it does, it takes its left hand side and right hand side, take the values of these two containers. Like I can write, instead of b, I can just write 12 or something like that if a is integer. Okay, what I can do with this plus operator, it will take the left hand side, it will take the right hand side, it will sum it up, and it will return the value. So whatever the answer or whatever the value it will get after doing this operation, this plus sign will return that value. Okay, always remember that it will return some value, and that value needs to be assigned to somewhere. Like it needs to be stored somewhere, or it needs to be utilized somewhere. Okay, like if within, if I am trying to write something like this, like a plus operator I am using, that I have to write I equals to something plus something, and that should be in bracket ideally, so that that returned value can be utilized. Whatever value it is returning, it is something like You have a container, and within this plus sign, you have another container. Here you have some value. Here you have another value. And this plus sign, what it is doing, it is taking this value, it is taking this value as well, summing it up, and then returning the whole somewhere. Okay. If I am writing s is equal to this a plus b, that means the container value of within a and b are summed up, and then it is getting somewhere like this plus is throwing some value to me after adding these two values. Okay, so that value needs to be assigned to somewhere, so we are assigning that in another container, that is s. So that's how it operates. Plus, minus, everything works like this. Now, how this unary operator works? This I plus plus means nothing but I equals to I plus 1. This is what we can achieve with I plus plus. That means I am taking the value of current value of I am adding some value, that is 1 with I, and I am assigning that back to I. That means the same container from where I have taken the initial value, I am overwriting that value. Okay. So that means I am overwriting that value of I. The previous value of I will be overwritten by new value. What is that new value? That is plus 1 when I am looking into this. If it is minus minus, that means that means j equals to j minus 1. That's how it
So,
looks.
sir, I have written like I plus plus and I equal to I plus one. That's same thing.
Yes, it is the same thing. Now, where it is used mostly, for that, we will come to something which is called loop. So first thing, what is a loop? A loop is nothing but a cyclic way of execution of the statements. So when I am saying cyclic way of execution, that means it would be something like this, like something cycle by which we can just start the execution. It will go in this way, and then it will come back, and that again it will go through this. So this cyclic execution actually needs to be controlled. Otherwise, if it is uncontrolled, then it can go into infinite loop. So loop means, what do you mean by loop? That it is a cyclic way, right? Now, you can be in a loop. You need to know from where you have to uh, come into this loop and from where you have to go out of loop. So your logic needs to be built in a way that your entry and exit of the loop is secured. Otherwise, it will go into infinite loop. Always remember this. Now, we can use while, do while, for, all these things. I will only go with while and for. Anyway, while, most of the time we don't use while nowadays. We mostly use for, and for can be written in two different ways. Two different formats can be used. We will cover one today, uh, that is the standard for loop, and then the other thing, that is with for each, which we'll actually call for each loop. For each means I have a set of records, and with each record I will, or each entry I will go through that and I will work on it. So sorry. So that is a different thing that I will go through next day, because for that you need to know what is collection. So I will touch upon collection today and how that works, what is the way to handle that. That you have to learn in next week, and next day we will discuss initially what is collection again, and then we will go into for each loop, right?
Okay.
So first thing is that I told you, like, there should be some entry and exit point. Say I have taken one integer I, say equals to 0. Now I am writing while I is less than 10, and I am just printing, I'm just printing I. Let's do this as well. What is the, what 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 is the utility of that? I will come to that later. I equals to I plus 1. So mm, while is a loop. Loop means, again, it will execute its body multiple times. Execute its body multiple times. What do you mean by multiple times? Till this condition is satisfying. So this part is the condition checking. So what condition we can check here? Greater than, less than, greater than, equal to, less than, equal to, equal to, equal to, not equal to, all these things we can check. Now here what I am trying to do, like, the initial value of I is 0. I am checking whether value of I is less than 10. If the answer is yes, it will go into its body. It will execute how many statements you have written, it will go through all of them, and then it will come back. When it will get this last second bracket, it will come back to this condition. If this condition is true, it will go into this body again. So it will continue till this condition is true, right? So here it will print 0 to 9. The last time when the value is 9 and I have increased the value by 1, that means now when the value of I is 10 and I have encountered this second bracket, it will come back to this condition. The condition will be false at that time because the value of I is 10. So 10 is not less than 10. 10 is equal to 10 actually. So that's when it will go out of this while loop. Got my point?
Yes,
Got
sir.
my point?
Yes,
Ye-
sir.
Everybody?
Because of that, sir, here, whenever the criteria is not met, then it's continue is running, right?
When the criteria is met, that this condition is true, this condition is giving you true value, at that time it will execute. Here this value, until this value is false, it will continue. Now say I am writing this I equals to I minus 1. What will happen? Tell me.
Sir, it will never
It's
meet the
It
criteria.
will infinite.
It will be infinite. So it will go infinitely. Would it actually go infinitely? We have whatever we have discussed today, within that we have the answer. Can someone think about that? Will it go infinitely?
Actually, I think we have a range for integer in something like that. So if we are following that range, then it will stop at that range. It will not go infinitely.
Good. Integer. What is the range? The minimum value of integer is this.
It will stop at maximum
stop at
value.
end.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
So when like it will execute this loop till this time, ideally, and then when it will hit this range, it will give you that out of range, integer out of range error, and it will go out of this. But ideally, Apex most of the time handles these things internally, and rather than giving going up to this, it will give you some heap size error because it creates some heap, and then like this heap size error most of the time we see like there is a maximum size of heap that is allowed. If that is reached, it will go out. But ideally this is the thing it should happen, like this many times that loop will execute as we are decreasing by one only, so from zero, and it will go out. That is what it is going to happen. Okay, now the same thing, if we have to write this using for loop, it would be little easier. It would be something like I equals to 0, I is less than 10. Here I'm just writing less than equal to 10, not exactly the same one. Previously I have added 1, and then I plus plus. I can write I plus plus, or I can write I equals to I plus 1. Okay, and say I'm just putting this system.debug. So it will do almost the same thing. Only thing is that this condition is little different. It will go up to 10 rather than 9. So it is little easy. It looks little easy, right? So all these statements that can be combined into smaller things. How? For when we are writing for, this is called the initialization of the variable, and this is called loop variable. Previously also, whatever by which you are executing your loop, in our programming terms we just say that as loop variable. Okay, and then you have this condition checking, and then you have this increment or decrement statement. How it works: whenever you are going into this loop, whenever system is trying to get into this loop, it will execute this once, only one time. First time when it is going into loop, it will execute this statement, then it will check the condition. Okay, and then it will go into this loop, it will execute the body of the loop. Once system got this second curly brace, it will come back to this increment or decrement operator, whatever we have used here. It will execute this statement, and then it will go back to condition checking. Once the condition is checked, and if the condition is true, then it will execute the body again. So tell me, when you are getting out of this loop, if I am putting system dot debug I, what we will get here? What would be the value of I here? Can someone tell me?
It will be the same as in the loop.
It will be the same.
Uh,
So how many times this system.debug will execute
10
within
times.
this loop?
13 times.
10 times.
10 times,
11 times.
11 times. Okay. And what would be the maximum value of I within when we are executing this?
Maximum value of I will be 10.
Okay. So when you are getting out of this loop, then what would be the value of I?
I think it
Uh,
will be 10 as the loop
0.
has already executed on the
I couldn't follow you, whoever was talking last.
yeah. So as the loop has executed, so I think it will be the final value.
It will be the final value. What is the final value?
It is 10 because it is less or equal to 10.
You are missing the basic point, guys. If it is 10, if the value of I is 10, that means this condition is true, right? This condition, outcome of this condition is true. If this condition is true, it will be within this loop only. It can go outside this loop only when this condition is not true. And when, like, how this condition cannot be true in this situation, as we are incrementing I, that means it can only be 11 when it can go out of this loop. So if you print this outside the loop, you will get 11, you will not get 10. How you can get 10? If you are getting 10, then obviously you will be within that loop, not outside that loop. Got my point?
For getting 11, then we have to put some condition according to getting 11, right?
No, no, no,
Because
no. I am asking about this statement.
so will there be any output if the code will be like this?
Obviously, there will be. You write it down. You just
Okay.
define one variable, integer I, just put for loop. Even if you want to if you don't want to put this, that is also fine. Outside the loop, put system.debug. Don't write this. It is not the thing. Write this and check what is the value of I.
Okay, sir.
Do it. Then we will come back to the other things here.
Yeah, sir.
Let me know once it is done.
Sir, I have done this.
Just wait for some time, and in between you execute your code and check. You just execute your code and check what you are getting there. I don't need to tell you what you will get. Guys, are we done? Everybody, I just want to hear yes from everybody.
Yes, I am done, but I am execute, sir.
You are not able to execute.
No, no, I just check the what are the get value.
So what is the value?
Just a minute, sir.
What is the value when you are printing that outside loop?
No, I already written the coding, but I not be execute right now. I take
Ex-
just one
yeah,
2 minutes.
execute it and check.
Sure, sir.
It is not executed. It's error something.
Actually, there is some issue. Can I please share my screen?
Yep, please.
Uh,
Again, your indentation is too bad. Correct your indentation. Then only you can understand which body you are using where, and how you are writing this, because in developer automatically indent the whole thing properly.
like this one.
No, nothing like that. System.debug indentation means from where you are starting that line.
Okay. Like I'm not getting what is wrong here.
You just undo whatever changes you have done now. You have put that system.debug. Just put I, that will be fine as well. Put I,
Okay.
bracket close. Now go to the start of this line.
Start of this line like here.
Yes.
Okay.
Put a tab.
Put a
tab. Left side from top, you the third keystroke is your tab. No, that is comment. Tab, left side
Okay, left side
from top.
from top.
If you look vertically, the third one, that is the tab above caps
Okay,
lock.
okay, okay.
Put another tab. Then the next second bracket, whatever you have, go to that and put one tab and another tab now. Put another tab there. For the curly brace, put another tab. Look at, don't go anywhere, just check. You have come to this curly brace. The color of this curly brace is changed, right?
Hmm.
And you can see which body is this.
Yes.
So your body, your code, whatever you are writing, the indentation of your code according to the body of the things you are writing, like you have written for. So the indentation of for would be like this. The curly brace will stop from where, from the indentation from it has started, like from where for has started. You see this second bracket of this for is there right now. Now come to the next system.debug. So that is not part of, put another tab. Okay, now come to the next one, system.debug I. uh, okay, put the next one. Go to the next second brace, second bracket.
Okay. I should enter tab.
So you have written public class void in your method name. You were trying to write some method, right?
Yes.
So your method should contain the name of the method. Void is not the name
Okay,
of the
okay,
method.
okay,
Void
okay.
is the return type, right? So it should be the name. And when you are writing a method, this keyword class will not be used.
Mm-hmm.
Put method one or two, don't write like that. Method, then
Okay.
bracket open close, first bracket open close, because method always takes arguments. If you are not putting any argument, then it should not be like that. And remove this word keyword class from method name.
Word class from method name.
Method declaration, you have written public class void method one, right?
Yes, 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 yes,
Why
yes.
that is class? It should not be class. Class is when you are defining a class. Method is within that class.
Yes, in hurry I made the mistake.
Variable does not exist I, so you haven't defined I anywhere. You have defined I within, yes. Wait. This is the classic example. What you have done, you have defined I uh, in for. So within the for, you have defined integer I, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the lifetime or the accessibility of I is within this for loop only, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Outside
Because
it is not available.
obviously outside of that it will not be available. So when you have written system.debug I at the bottom, like outside the for loop, it is complaining because it does not know what is I.
Yes, sir.
So you are defining I here. So that means you are not getting the continued value of I. You are actually again defining the value of I. That means it is another definition. So your I needs to be defined either at class level. And why you are writing from there, why you are writing it from there?
Sir, class after the class there will be
After
the
the class, even if you are writing that after the class, what I was telling you about the indentation, how it should work, you should give one tab space for any new body. So you are writing that within class, so it is part of class body. So it will start from with single tab
okay,
from the
sir. So
left,
from here
go extreme left, put one tab, and then start your statement.
sir, it is okay now.
I can't see, like, I can't see the definition. Either your screen freezed or something happened.
Sir, is it okay now?
What is easy? Like, I cannot see anything. Are you writing anything? Yeah, now I can say this. Yes, the indentation is correct now.
Okay,
So define I there.
okay,
That
sir.
is fine.
So here,
So don't define integer I again in for loop. First, close
okay,
that
sir.
statement. How you can close a statement? With semicolon. Any
Yes,
statement
sir.
which does not have any body, that should be enclosed, that should be closed by semicolon. Okay, follow up, getting my
Yes,
point?
sir. Yes, sir. I'm getting.
Okay, now within the for loop, don't define integer I again. Then it should not be integer. That
Okay,
integer will be removed, because you cannot define same variable uh, with in two places in same body. Now you
yes, sir.
execute your code. My god, don't use this kind of name.
Yes, sir. Actually, in hurry, I made it.
You don't have to hurry that much. And rather than writing any meaningful name, it is not going to take that much of time. Where you have defined it?
Where I have defined it. Sir.
No, 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 no. In your anonymous window block. When you are defining, like how you can define any variable or any object. For variable, it should be the type of that variable, integer, float, something, space the name. For object, it would be that class name, space object name. With dot, you can access it. So
Okay,
it will
sir.
not be dot. In that place of dot, it would be a space equals to new CALSS0 bracket open close. This is actually the constructor. Whatever you have written here right now in this statement after new, that is the constructor. Yeah, and we are using default constructor.
Okay, sir.
Now obj dot method one, semicolon. Wait. Okay, I can't see. Method one. Is that the correct name you have used?
Yes, sir. Sir, I copy pasted it.
Uh, Click OK. Let me look into this. It should not look like that. Just give me one sec.
Okay, sir.
Not sure what is the issue there. Just let me.
Sir, before integer, it should be public, right?
Before integer, it should be public. Then it can be accessed from outside if I have to. But here I'm not accessing that from outside. That public is should be put. That is fine. But I'm just trying to understand what happened to.
Sir,
It's
integer
recording.
integer I equals to 1, is that a
Recorded one.
default value? It's just over.
That can be the default value. In I equals to 0, it will be overwritten. That is fine. That is not a big deal. But I can't understand why it cannot execute.
I think this code is not saved. Let's save it.
Okay, save the class. So what is the value of I?
11.
Outside the code, it is 11.
So everyone got the point. Like the max value of whatever is defined within the condition, the loop variable will increment with increment or decrement. It will not be that max value in the condition. Obviously, that would be outside that. Then only it will negate, or then only it will provide the false value, and that will come out of that loop. Otherwise, it will not come out of that loop. Is it clear to everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now it's
yes.
clear.
Okay, let's move on. Now, say this is my, I have written it in this way. Starting from 1, I am going to 10, and I only have to print the, I only have to print what to say, the say the odd values. Only the odd values we would print. Okay. So, what is the way to do that? What we can do to print all the odd values within loop?
Sir, we can take a if statement, and inside that we can write
Yes,
math.mod, and
yes, we can do that. Or
yes.
whatever different logic you have put, that also we can do. Instead, I am telling you I am going to do some other thing. I'm going to do this thing. Would it work?
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's right.
Now the point is which code we should write, or how we should write the code. Obviously, we could write that that what to say, that if condition and all these things. Only point is that always try to write lesser number of statements to complete your code, because the more number of lines you are writing, it is going to take more time to process that. It will include more complexity within that within your code. And always be sure, like nested if means I am writing something like this: if I is greater than 0, uh, and I is less than 10, to these things. Whatever statements. I can write this, or I can write it in this way. If I is greater than 0, try to follow how I am trying to write the things. I never try to close the bracket at the end. I always try to close the bracket at the first line so that I don't miss it later. Anyway, let me go to next page so that I is less than 10. So both the statements are correct. This one and this one. But which one we should utilize, or we should write? We should write this. Always try to uh, avoid nested if. This is called nested if. What is nested for or nested loop? If I am writing another for loop within this for loop for any reason. So always try not to write nested if or nested for within your code, right? Got my point?
Yes,
Okay.
it is very simple. Like can anyone can see that first one, that can he can easily understand.
They can easily understand, that is true. More important part is it will reduce the complexity of the code, because whenever you have nested if, system will increase, like it will increase your program complexity is related to system, how system read that code. It is not that how we are writing that code or we are understanding that code. Okay, so I just want you to uh, let's write it down. Let's put something there, and then I will go to the collection framework thing. Before going to collection framework, I believe you have got this thing, the concept of loop, how we can write the loop, how we can put the things, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So,
Yes, sir.
do you know what is Fibonacci series? What is Fibonacci numbers?
Every last integer is the result of the summation of the previous two integers, right?
Right. And it always starts with 0. Ideally, it will start with 0. So, the program you have to write now is print the Fibonacci numbers between 0 to 100. Print the Fibonacci numbers between 0 to 100. So, write it down. Let's complete this program at least today, and then we will go to something else, like we will go to collection framework. Clear for everybody?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So, and try to write it down from your own. Don't copy paste. Don't copy paste anything. Try to build this logic. The important part is to building this logic. Let me know once it is done. You have ideally you should not take more than 15 minutes to do this. Guys, 5 minutes more. Then we have to go into other things. Can someone tell me how you are trying to frame this code? What is the process you are following? Angshita,
So actually, I'm trying.
how you are trying? What is the way of trying?
Like, uh, actually, I can find it like how I.
Right. Okay. Got you. Anyone else? Can anyone show me how you are trying? Everybody is trying, I can understand, but how you are trying to write that code?
So can I show it?
Yep.
But I am trying. So here I am. Number of that a equal to 0, and it's just the one.
First of all, your condition is not right anyway, but guys, you are trying in wrong way. So, what is the way you should write a code? That you have to think, that you have to understand first. Okay, let me share my screen. And whatever you have learned till now, learn this thing carefully, because that is the whatever I have told you till now, you can just read through it. But what I am going to tell you now, that is most important part, how you should think to write a code. So what is your problem statement here? Your problem statement is, I need to uh, find out, I have to print all the Fibonacci numbers. So for Fibonacci numbers, what is my logic? That it will start with 0, the second value should be 1, and after that, everything should be summation of the previous two values, right? So that is my problem statement. So how or where or in which way I can do this? See, first thing is that, uh, say I am taking one variable where I am storing this. So first thing is that these first two values, these are statics, right? This is static value. And after that, that's why one is coming twice. If somewhere I have to start, then I have 1 2 3, whatever it is. So the initial two values I have to get from somewhere, and here I have to hard code that equals to 1. Now the question is, after that, whatever I am printing, is it repetitive in nature? Is it repetitive? The answer is yes, it is repetitive. How it is repetitive? It is actually the next number we are getting from adding the previous two numbers, right? So my current number can be, or my current number must be, summation of previous two numbers. So this is my third number. If this is my first number, this, if I print this variable, it would be my first number, then it would be my second number, then this is my third number. So if I have to find my fourth number, here these two are statics, but here, from here, I can do something which is repetitive, right? So what I can do, I can put for, and do I know how many numbers I can find within 100? I don't know till now. Let it be like that. Can I do something? I equals to 0. Till what time I have to go on? Till my numbers are within 100, right? By which I can finding out my number, that is s. So the s is less than equals to 100, I plus plus. What will happen? What will happen? I will continue one by one, but when it will break, when this condition is met. So here the loop or increment or how this loop is going on, that is not important. For me, important is how my numbers will appear and how I can store them. So this is my third number. To get my fourth number, what I have to do? I have to swap. Swap what? A and B. So how my A and B should behave? First time, if this is A and this is B, then next time this would be A and this would be B. Next time this would be A and this would be B. Right? In that way, it is swapping. It is changing the value. Then what I have to do? In this pass, if this is my pass 1, forget about this. This is my this is I have hard coded with A and B. Let's start from this. So what was my value of A? What is my value of A and B here? So previous value of B is A now, and previous value of S is here, right? So again, in my next pass, what I am doing? Value of B is actually here, the value of A is previous value of B, and the new value of B is summation of previous two. So for my next pass, what I can do? A, for the next pass, I am just preparing my values, right? What would be my A? The previous value of B. And what is my B? Summation of previous two values, that is A plus B, which I have stored in S here, right? And I can put this system dot debug S. So it will print the Fibonacci numbers. Got it? How it is, how it should be developed? First, you need to build your logic in pen and paper. This thing should be built in your pen and paper. Then only you should go for writing the actual code. Don't go for writing the code directly. First think, first do it with your pen and paper. Gradually you can think it within your head only. You would not need pen and paper anymore. And at that time you can think about it, and then you can just go and write your code. This is the way to build your program. Like you are trying, that is fine. How you are trying, there should be a process by which you should try. Deduce the problem statement, go to that, find out, and then put it there. Clear for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is one way to do this. There can be other ways to do that. Why I haven't assigned these two variables within loop, that a equals to 0 and b equals to 1? Because every time the loop will execute, if I assign these values here within loop, every time a and b will be reassigned with 0 and 1, which would not serve my purpose. My purpose is that previously whatever I had, I will swap that only. That is the work I have to do. Why I have put this summation first? Because the initialization was done before, so the summation needs to be there first, and that should be printed. And as we will be going through, we will lose the values of a and b. That's why this assignment or swapping of the values is done after the summation. So there might be other ways to do that. You can think about it. But next day, whatever you have seen here, forget about this code. Don't think about this code. Understand this, how you are going to do this. And next day's assignment. You know the palindrome numbers?
No, sir.
Like 1 to 1.
Right. 1 to 1. Or say 11. Or say 66. Print all the palindrome numbers between 1 to 1000. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Print all the palindrome numbers between 1 to 1000. That is your assignment for next day. That is the first thing. Okay. Now we will cover uh, collection variable. What is collection variable? Collection variable is nothing but storing same type of variables, same type of values, or a set of values, or a group of values somewhere. That is called collection. How it looks like? Parameterized typing, you don't need to follow it right now. We will come to this later somewhere. There can be list, there can be set, there can be map. Okay. What is list? List is nothing but storing values one after another. This is something how the list will look like. So list can be of type integer, float, data, or of any object like account, contact, anything. Okay. So list is nothing but collection of unordered data. Okay. Then we have set. What is set? And within list you can have like something like this as well. So repetitive values can be there. Okay. What is set? Set is where you have non-repetitive data. So set should be unique. A set is an unordered collection of elements that do not contain any duplicate. That is set. Okay. Only simple unordered collection, that is list. Set unique values. It contains unique values, that is no duplicate. What is map? A collection of key value pair where each unique key maps to a single value. What does that mean? You know, we have the standard ID field for all the objects in Salesforce.
Yes.
Now, you think that you need to know, or you have to put in a way that you have all the accounts and you have the phone numbers of those accounts. Okay. Now, with or for any account, if you have to check what is the phone number or what are the phone numbers, how you can get that? One way is that you query with that account ID, you query and you go and then you check. The other way is that if you can do the query first and you map all these things like ID, whatever that ID is, ID1, and it will have this phone number. Say this is the phone number. For ID2, you have, say this is the phone number, or you can have multiple phone numbers. Anything, something like that. Say, I'm just segregating with semicolon. Say these two are the phone numbers. If you know the ID, then you can use one method called get and you can get the values. This is the purpose of map. But only thing is that this field, this ID, or but the by the unique key by which you are putting this in map, that must be unique. Getting my point? Otherwise, you will not understand like how to fetch the value. So map is nothing but key value pair. You have the key and you have the value. If you know the key, if you know this key, you can fetch this value. So key is important. Understanding or knowing key is important to get the value. That is key value pair, that is called map. So what are the methods, what are the functions we can use for list, set and map? Go through it from here. I would not uh, go into detail today, but I will show you next day. I will show you how we can fetch the things and uh, what is the best way to utilize these things, because primarily we are going to handle uh, database things like the records, whatever is stored in Salesforce, that we will fetch and that we will work upon. Okay. Say for opportunity, and this will give you the basic of batch class as well later. I will go to batch class later, but first what you have to understand that if I have to write any code, what I am going to do, where I should be using set, where I should be using map, these things you need to understand. And that we will go through next day. And the code what I have asked you to write, except that there are so many things, so many small piece of code, you can just write it down now, because going forward I am going to give you assignments like uh, just print all the uh, contacts associated with these accounts, or say the accounts, you will take first 10 accounts starting with A and print all the contacts associated with A. These kind of things I am going to give you. After that I will give you the database thing, like the database part. I need to make you understand like how we can use database dot and the methods there, insert, update, delete, all these things. Okay, so in between I just need to tell you, I just need to show you the test class as well. So next day our target would be to complete the collection framework, like using database query, the SOQL thing. Only the SOQL I will go through. SOSL is another thing which I will go through later. So with SOQL, how we can fetch data or records, and how to utilize these collection variables, as well as we will go through test classes. Okay,
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
so just go through this first. Go through this. Go through this things, this map, list, and set. Because next day I'm going to ask you like what are the functions we can use, because that is very much required to understand when and where I should use it. And also write that code, like try to write that code without taking the help to build the logic. Like build your logic. Writing syntax is fine. What you are going to do next day, like how we have found that Fibonacci numbers that I have explained you. Next day, you have to explain me how we can get the palindrome numbers. What is the way to get those palindrome numbers? Okay, so that part you will explain me first next day. Then we will look into more detail in collection variables, and then we will go through test classes. That would be the plan.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear for everybody? I
Yes, sir.
thought that I will have two classes in a week, but it seems like that would not make much sense, because you just need to do your work and your part, and you need the whole week to work on that. Until and unless you are doing that, I cannot move fast. So try to understand that part, and just do all these things, like build your logic. Try to build your logic. If you don't understand anything, give, call me, put that in WhatsApp group. We have those, I have that WhatsApp group, not to only share the meeting links. If you have any question, put that there. Let's connect anytime between this week. Probably morning time I would be busy, or you can just put when we can connect. I will connect, no issue with that.
Okay,
Okay,
Okay, sir.
so complete this part, and then we will come back next day, and we can just discuss these things.
sure.
So guys, let's close it today. And can somebody stop the recording? Okay, that's fine. I'll talk to.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you guys. Bye
Thank you,
bye
sir.
for today.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
I think recording is not stopped.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll take care of that.
Okay.